Cartoonist Gus has recently recovered from cancer, but the illness has turned him into a recluse. He has lost his hair, gained weight, and, most importantly, lost his zest for life. His sister Lizzie, an eccentric romance novelist, tries to set him up with her new friend, journalist Emily. Although the date goes terribly, Gus realizes that he has fallen in love. Lizzie, who specializes in writing romance novels, decides to test her theories in practice, and it turns Gus into the man of every girl's dreams, a mysterious New Zealand biker named Lobo who wins Emily's heart. But what will happen when she finds out that the whole thing is nothing more than an experiment? Romantic comedies are often considered one of the simplest and most straightforward genres. The formula is well known, so the task seems easy enough. Find charming actors, give them some jokes, and secure the rights to a few romantic ballads for the soundtrack. Don't Tell Her It's Me convincingly proves that the genre is actually far more delicate than it appears, and that its magic can be destroyed by just a couple of unfortunate choices. Ironically, Sarah Bird, the author of the novel The Boyfriend School on which the film is based, originally wrote it to reveal the invisible but very demanding work behind so-called women's romance novels. Nevertheless, the screenplay she wrote based on The Boyfriend School was later described by Bird herself as exceedingly mediocre, a judgment that applies just as well to the film that eventually came out of it. And there are plenty of reasons for that. To begin with, the screenplay desperately lacks momentum. The movie runs for over 100 minutes, and nearly a third of that time is devoted to exposition and setup. We are slowly introduced to the characters, immersed in their world, and carefully prepared for what will follow. Seeing such a meticulous approach in a naive comedy, one built around the premise that the heroine stubbornly fails to recognize Gus when he puts on a long wig and colored contact lenses, is extremely strange. Why spend so much time on dramatic detail and realism if you're just going to throw it all out the window and pile one implausible contrivance on top of another? Another issue lies in how Gus looks at the beginning of the film. Bird herself later recalled being shocked by the grotesque makeup that Steve Guttenberg insisted on using for the role. After all, romantic comedies are usually about beautiful people falling in love in a beautiful way, but Gus initially comes across as an unpleasant, grumpy misanthrope. The idea is clear enough. As the story unfolds, Lizzie's boyfriend school transforms her brother both outwardly and inwardly. But it's very difficult to connect with a protagonist like that or feel sympathy for him. The part of a rom-com where we're supposed to get to know the characters and start falling for them works in reverse here. The final problem is that the film and its director seem fundamentally mismatched. Don't Tell Her It's Me practically begs for an exaggerated, eccentric approach. But Malcolm Mowbray, a British director known for subtle English humor, spends most of the film looking unsure of how to handle the material. Under his direction, the movie becomes sluggish, heavy, and overly talkative, leaving the actors to carry it on their own shoulders as best they can. Veteran comedian Shelley handles every scene she appears in with professional ease. Jami doesn't always quite find her character, but becomes charming whenever the humor kicks in. And MacLachlan amusingly plays yet another narcissist. The only one who seems out of place is Guttenberg himself. Without the sarcastic edge of his famous Mahoney persona, he feels strangely exposed. He's not especially convincing as a romantic lead, and he doesn't have humor to hide behind. At the box office, Don't Tell Her It's Me flopped badly, and hardly anyone rushed to defend it. Critics pointed out its weak spots, while audiences simply shrugged and went back to watching Pretty Woman, which had been released only a few months earlier and had already set a new standard for the genre. Once again proving that viewers would much rather see the effortlessly charming Richard Gere on screen than Steve Guttenberg covered in blotchy makeup with sparse hair on a bald scalp. The film does have its moments, and it's certainly worth a look as an artifact of its era. In a way, it's a shame things turned out this way, but at the same time, the verdict feels fair.